Must we always pray for Nigeria before we can qualify for a World Cup? Like every time Nigeria has had to play the World Cup qualifiers, we would have to pray. We would have to pray that somebody would drop points, or maybe make one other person lose, or make one other person draw. Why Nigeria not fit just easily qualify for the World Cup? Now, this game against Rwanda was a very crazy game. I was sitting at the pub watching the game. I had a lot of persons around me screaming. Everybody seems to be angry about the way Nigeria is going with this World Cup qualifiers. And looking at the teams we were playing against, South Africa, Benin and Rwanda, Lesotho, and still yet, if you look at the group stage, yeah, Nigeria has drawn 3 games, lost one, and they just managed to beat Rwanda. And guess what? We're going to be facing South Africa next. How the hell are we going to come out of this? Personally, I really don't know. Looking at the Nigerian team, you discover that we have a lot of European players, right? Nigeria has the likes of Iwobi, Chukwueze, Ndidi, Victor Osimhen, and the likes. And when you compare these players to the players from Rwanda, you see that the difference is so huge. But we couldn't even create a lot of chances looking at this game. And a lot of persons are saying that the Nigerian players are playing without passion. Gone are those days where a Nigerian player would wear the green white jersey and they would give their all, right? But right about now, it does not seem to be the case because a lot of them are protecting themselves. You see a lot of players now playing for their national team, but they really cannot go into it. They are trying to make sure that they don't get injured because they are thinking about their clubs and the likes. And it feels so sad. Like it's seeming like Nigeria might not qualify for for next year's World Cup. I beg your pardon. And if that should happen, I believe the whole country is going to capsize because how can you explain, right? Like the giant of Africa not being able to qualify for the World Cup? Is it like so? Why are we the giant of Africa? They should just easily call us the chicken of Africa or the chicken of the world because this is like the second time or the third time in a row Nigeria is having to not just not qualify for the World Cup. We are having to struggle, like we are struggling to qualify. And looking at the type of players we have is a shame because how then are we going to beat South Africa? A lot of persons are saying Nigerians are going to beat. You are saying it like it's that easy? We can just go to South Africa and just beat them 4-0. First of all, they have 16 points on the table, followed by Benin with about I think like 11 points. But right now Nigeria is third, and it's a good thing for us basically, but then we might still have to pray for somebody to lose or we pray for somebody to draw, and I don't think it's a good thing. Now the game started up in a very shaky format. The Nigerian players actually, they were trying to press and maybe just get a goal to just ease the fans and the likes, but it was not happening because the Rwanda goalkeeper was doing his job pretty well. And it got so crazy when Osime came off injured. That was actually very sad because when you look at Nigeria, there's that one player that pushes for a goal is Osime. Osime is always trying to, put pressure on the defenders, put pressure on the goalkeeper, trying to get a goal for us. And he left out injured. But thankfully they brought in Tolu. Tolu is just signed for the Premier League Wolves, and he actually scored the goal. That was like a good substitution for us. Apart from that, there was really nothing to look out for in the game, apart from the fact that Iwobi was just trying to create one or two chances, right, left and right. And talking about the right side of Nigeria was dead. There was literally nobody going out on the right, and we're asking questions. Is it that we don't have a right winger? Although the defense for Nigeria was solid, but Rwanda, they did not really create so much problems for us. So we really cannot say there was a threat. Wambali was trying to waste time. I don't know why he was trying to do that. A lot of fans were complaining, like they were not happy with the way Wambali was playing the game. They were like, Nigeria need to score more than one, two, three, four goals, but yet Wambali was, just trying to kill the time at the back. Maybe it was the system, or maybe it was the coach that just told them, if we can just get one goal, let's just sit back. But that's actually a very dangerous thing to do because if you are scoring one goal against a Rwanda side that is not even half of your team, a lot of these Rwanda players, they don't play in Europe, but you have Nigerian players, all of them, almost all of them, Lukman and the rest, Ndidi, they play in Europe, right? If you are sitting back against a Rwanda side, then I don't know what you're going to do when you are playing against the Brazils, the Portugals, the Englands, the Germany when you get to the World Cup. Personally, for me, I feel this is actually a very disappointing World Cup qualifiers. you would expect Nigeria to be right on top of the table. Okay, at least let's even say Nigeria should not be on top of the table. You should, or you would expect them to be at least second. There's nothing wrong for Nigeria for being on top of the table. But right now we are not there. We're not second. Just today we got to third, and let's see how it goes from here. They have their mind fixed on the World Cup qualifiers, and they really don't want to think about the Afcon, being that they finished second in the last Afcon. Losing to Ivory Coast, that's understandably, but they're at the verge of being knocked out of the World Cup qualifiers, and that would be a disaster for a team like Nigeria. So tell me what you think, guys. Are you satisfied with the way Nigeria is playing? Are you satisfied with the way the structure of the team is, being that we have a lot of European players in the squad, but yet we seem to struggle a lot with scoring goals and maybe with keeping clean sheet? What do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.